Good afternoon, everyone. It is 1:30 Central, so we will get started. Welcome and thank you for tuning into today's webinar, Understanding Quality Welds, 3 Quality Testing and Evaluation Tools for Any Welding Program. My name is Emily Winnestorfer. I will be your moderator for today's presentation. Presenting today, we have Jamey McIntosh. He is one of our product managers here at Realityworks. Jamey has been with us for 9 years and came to us with an extensive education background as a former educator teaching in Wisconsin and in Colorado. His topics cover student engagement, technology in the classroom, gaming, filling the skills gap, business education, and various agriculture and welding topics. He is a fantastic resource for today's presentation. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pass things over to Jamey to get us going.
Thank you very much, Emily, and thank you everyone for coming to this today. If you have a moment, why don't you go ahead and type in the chat area where you're coming from, and also why don't you type in what your job is, meaning maybe what kind of teacher you are, what subjects you teach, what would you qualify yourself there. That just helps us get to know you a little bit better, and we appreciate that. So to start out with today, I'd like to start us and really kind of focus on 3 different quality weld test and evaluation tools that we're going to talk about today in our presentation. Thank you again for coming to this presentation. We hope that this gives you some good insight into different ways to add and to get your students to understand and learn quality welds within welding. So just to get us started here, we are an education company that focuses in a lot of different career and technical education areas, including family consumer science, health science, agriculture, and welding and trades. And we're really going to focus on the world of probably agriculture, welding and trade skills, manufacturing, as we talk through these products, really focusing on welding tools that can help and engage your students. So to get started, one of the things that we've developed over the years is what we call the 21st century welding classroom. This is a look at what we would say can help students become better welders in less time and become more proficient in quality welds. So our world really focuses on starting with that welding simulation. We have welding simulators, our guide weld VR welding simulators that a lot of times you would have in the classroom and have students be able to learn proper welding technique before they would ever step foot on the shop floor. Or after doing some welding out on the shop floor, they may need to come back and hone their skills using our guide weld VR welding simulators. So giving them that upfront usage and understanding of proper welding technique. We also have our Guide Weld Live real welding guidance system, which are in our live welding booths. This is a connection with our Guide Weld VR welding simulators. And the focus is that inside the helmet, you actually have a guidance system that every time you move your welding gun or interact with your weld, it gives you your work angle, your travel angle, and your travel speed, allowing you to make sure that you are following the WPS and making the best welds possible every time you weld. What we're going to really hone in and focus on today are 3 other products that we have. One of them is our RealCareer Common Welding Joints Kit and our RealCareer Weld Defects Kit. These 2 kits really are kind of giving students the ability to visually inspect, understand how to do proper welds, both on the common welds, and then also to be able to see different defects and how do you correct them. The other part of this we'll look at is our destructive welding tester, our Bend Tester. This is going to be focusing on, in our Bend Tester, we'll really focus on how you then qualify a weld. Using a Bend Tester and doing destructive testing allows you to be able to see if you had a quality weld or not. So our focus today, again, are the 3 main tools that we have here in this quality and visual inspection. One is our Common Welding Joints Kit, kind of showing and working with proper welding, basic welds, and how to create these welds. Our Weld Defects Kit, learning about the different defects that can occur with improper welding and then how to fix those issues. And then our Bend Tester, how to qualify or create a quality weld and then be able to make sure that you understand the importance of proper welding technique. Now, a lot of this comes from a methodology that we have where we're always trying to engage students. Now, from these statistics show us that high school students are becoming more and more kind of wanting to have that interaction, that engagement, not only with the teacher, but with what they're doing. Understand the relevance of the material, and then also making sure that they not only connect, but that they see things as interesting and how it leads to careers in the future. So as you see students feeling disengaged from learning in a lot of ways, we really feel that our products with our curriculum, with our posters, our flashcards, with the product itself, being able to help students be able to engage into their learning and to become better learners. And again, we understand the challenges of today's instructor as well. A lot of times as instructors, you have to create individualized learning. You have to manage your classroom and your students effectively, and classroom management is becoming a bigger and bigger thing to focus on. You also need to keep keeping safety a priority, making sure that students not only are safe, but they know how to keep themselves safe as well. And then keeping aligned to standards and educational best practices. So we understand these are challenges, and our products try to help to reduce those challenges and to create new opportunities for you to bring new learning and understanding into your classroom. So we're going to get into these 3 different products, really focusing on the first 2. Our Common Welding Joints Kit is a visual inspection and really helps students to get an understanding of the welds that they do, how to inspect them, what to do about them, and what to kind of be aware of when they're doing their practice welds. The Weld Defect Kit really comes in where it focuses on, if you do have a defect, how to understand what defect it is, and then how to change it by interacting and changing your technique or your machine settings. And then our Bend Tester. Our Bend Tester is a manual bend tester that allows students to be able to do quality testing and be able to walk them through on how to set up and then how to actually do a bend test. So with this said, we're going to start with our Common Welding Joint Kit. Now, the whole purpose of the Common Weld Joint Kit is to give students an understanding and a visual as they're actually looking at the welds that they're going to do. So what are the joints that we did? Well, we have the kit right here, and we have all the different examples here, but what it is it's actually a plastic molded piece of the weld that they would most time do. So our Common Welding Joint Kits include things like your butt joint, your lap joint, your T-joint. We also do a 6-inch pike joint. We have some welds that I'll show some pictures of here with you of just tacking the weld, having an understanding of what to do. Now, some great features of all this is that it not only just is the welds themselves, but our curriculum and how we actually created these welds is by including both welds for SMAW and GMAW. So it gives both instruction on proper welding technique, and then it also talks about the differences between doing it in MIG or stick. So in this case, it comes with a nice case where all the molds fit in. It also has a curriculum talking about the different types of joints themselves. And then there's also a flashcard set. Now that flashcard set comes physically with you, but it also gives you a downloadable and printable version too. So your students can have it as well. Now, the way we created these products here is they are created by certified welding educators of AWS. Now, every weld we have here, every mold we have is an exact replica of a real weld that was done. And the way we do that is we actually take the weld that the certified welding educator had created for us, and then we were able to mold right over top of it, giving the exact a replica of the mold that we do. So it shows the details for both MIG and for stick. So to give a little closer view here for us, you can see that in this case, we have our butt joint. And so with our pipe weld here. So with our pipe weld here, we have it where it has your ability to be able to see the first open root here. And then this is a 3-pass focus here. So then you can see the first pass. and then you can see the second pass, and you can see the third pass. So it has your first pass, second, and third, giving students an ability to see what that looks like, what a quality weld would look like in that case, and then giving them the curriculum how to work and use it. Now, I also have a lap joint here, and again, trying to give you a little close-up so you can see what that is. In this lap joint here, it has a weld on it, but if you flip it over, it has another weld. So it has it in GMAW and also in SMAW. So it gives you two welds to be able to have and show your students, where then they can look at it and see that quality weld and what they should be looking for and understanding in that world. So this gives them ability to not only see the weld and be able to understand it, we also have flashcards that go along with it. And you can see on the PowerPoint slides here that that whole purpose of this is then be able to walk through. We have helpful hints. What you need to do with SMAW, what you need to do for GMAW, allowing your students to be able to get an understanding and be able to view not only what the weld should look like, but then also going into the curriculum and seeing, okay, how do I make sure that I do the quality weld that I need to? So we have flashcards for different types of welds that are also included in the kit here. Now, we're going to jump to our next product, which is our Weld Defect Kit. All right. Our Weld Defect Kit here has 12 different weld defects. There's actually 13 different molds in it, one of them being a quality weld that shows you what a quality weld is, and then 12 of them showing all the different defects from things like overlap or undercut. What we have here is it also comes with poster set of 5 different posters and flashcards for your students. Again, the whole purpose of doing this and how we did it was again created by AWS certified welding educator. And the whole purpose was we then had it qualified by a certified welding inspector to qualify it as a defect. So there's a specific defect for every single weld piece that we have here. And so as we do a little close up here, you can see some of these. And again, we have our weldment here. And what we did was we put that weldment and we molded right on top of it. So it's an exact replica of that weld. And then you can actually see what the issue is in that one. So in this case here, you have lack of fusion, and you can see where the lack of fusion is, giving students an understanding where they can visually inspect what that would look like, what that would mean. And this one here, it shows the spatter that is all over and what's going on there. So on these here, you can look at these, your students can understand, and you have these replicas that have great texture and detail, so they can go back and look at them and see, what does my weld look like compared to another weld, allowing you to really give an explanation and get that visual inspection understanding for your students. Now, along with this, we also have visual inspection understanding weld defect curriculum. Now, we also had it for common welding joints. We also have the curriculum. Now, what you can also see in the video here is the curriculum coincides with the flashcards, where you have a flashcard, you flip it over, and then it will tell you what is the issue, and then a picture of what the issue is, and then it gives you different descriptions on how to change. And so in this case, it talks about the causes and then the correction of the defect. Is it your machine or is it your technique? Allowing students to be able to look at these and use these flashcards to be able to then understand what the problem is, the definition, and then how do I correct it? What do I need to do that? So it comes with curriculum. It comes with this great visuals from the flashcards, from the posters, allowing you to be able to get a better understanding of the defects, and then having your students be able to actually go and take their weld and say, okay, what is the problem here? what's going on and what issues do I have there. Being able to look at a common weld and say, this is what it should look like, how I should be doing a weld, and then being able to tell them what are the things to be looking out for when you do your common weld. And then also saying, okay, it doesn't look like that. It has some sort of defect. What's the defect? Allowing you to go back and forth and having your students be able to do that with these different kits, allowing your students to gain understanding of proper welding, and then also let them do that learning, let them do that understanding. The last one that we want to talk about, another tool that we have, is our RealCareer Bend Tester. Now, I don't have it in the room here with us here. All right, it weighs just under 100 pounds, so it's about 90 pounds, and so it's large. It is something that it's a manual bend tester. All right, so it is not hydraulically run. It is something that is manual, allowing students to be able to move the material and the metal up through the plunger and then through the rollers to be able to do a bend test. Now, the great feature about this is that it allows your students to be able to not only do the weld, but be able to go and do the bend themselves or with your help and walk through how you would actually do that. This product here, the guided bend tester, complies with AWS D11 code. So it follows the D11 code. And the great feature of this product is that we also have 8-lesson curriculum with it. And that curriculum walks you, the teacher, and the student through how to do a proper bend test. So, for example, here, it comes with posters as well. And we're going to talk about how we walk through actually having students do a bend test, because this is now that place where your students will be able to do a bend test, be able to see if they had a qualified weld. And then that should tell them, when I walk out of these doors, if I can do qualified welds, I should be able to have a career in welding. So this is kind of that ticket that they can use to then go out and see if they can get a job. So, for example, here, when you qualify a weld, we have curriculum and posters to help students be able to understand what that means. The poster you see here walks through the different main pieces and understanding of a bend test here. And it talks about how you would pass using the AWS D11 code in the sense of discontinuities and what are the different examples that would pass or not be passable. Because that's the thing that a lot of times students don't understand, is that you could have a crack in your weld and still be able to pass that weld. And so it walks through how you actually do that. Now, to go a little deeper, our curriculum walks through, based on D11 code, how you actually prepare your weld before you do the weld. And so it starts from preparing your weld, doing your weld, and then destruction testing and qualifying your weld. So all the curriculum walks through your students with this, and use the teacher. So we give curriculum telling them how to bevel their weld, how to make sure that they're putting their weld pieces together. One of the things that I've seen over and over, and students need to always remember, is that you need to have the grain of your weld going the same direction. If you have them going different directions, before you even weld at all, you already have canceled out a quality weld. So you have to make sure that your grains aren't going different directions, but that they're going the same direction. So starting with that, the type of bevel, the backing plate that you need. And then after you do your weld, go ahead and cut your weld to get your strips for a qualification test. So we then talk through making sure that you have the strips you need for a face bend and a root bend, making sure that it is centered, how it would look and how you go through it. This is all so important for your students, because this allows them to make sure along the way that they are not only just good welders, but they understand how to do that weld and how to go about doing a qualified weld. So these are the places that are important for your students to be able to really start with the common welding joint kit and get an understanding of what those different welds are. All right. Moving from there, going to our Weld Defect Kit, and then going from there to our Bend Tester. Now, again, we have curriculum for every one of these products. So not only do you get the product and the ability to have your students be able to understand what a common weld, a qualified common weld looks like, to be able to help you with the weld defect, to be able to help you in those areas. What this does is it also gives you curriculum that walks through with your students all the steps before you would actually have them do the weld. So again, helping your students be able to understand and gain knowledge in this world. Another product we have that could help is our portable workstations. These are, again, just that. It is a portable workstation with a detachable welding shield screen, making and allowing you to be able to do demonstration purposes there, allowing you to be able to help with your students, giving them more space if you don't have enough welding booths, giving you that opportunity to be able to work in that space. So our large portable workstations are there as another convenience for you as you work and help in that world. Now, with this said, we want to say thank you for the time that you've taken today, that you have been with us here, and that you have gone with this webinar. And so to say thank you, we are actually going to have posters for all the participants who are here today. So we will be sending you a welding poster, each one, there's 5 of them in a pack here, each one of them giving you different understanding on different things like weld safety. We also have one on the parts of the weld, the types of the weld defects that we include in our product, and then also welding positions. So these will all be given to you and sent to you for taking the time and being part of this webinar. We thank you for your time and thank you that you have come and joined and be able to view this. If you have questions, please go ahead, and this is a great time to fill that information out right now. If you have a question, put it in the chat. We'd be happy to answer these questions for you. And this is also something where in the next day, Emily, who's on this webinar with me, she will be reaching out to you to be able to get your information. So please be looking for an email from her, because what she's going to ask for is an address of where we can send these posters to you. So look for that as you in the next day as she sends it out to you, so you make sure that we can get this shipped to you directly. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming today. If you do have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Again, the main focus here and the thing that we are always focused on is how can we help engage and then get your students to kind of skill up, to have that skilled learning. We have our common welding joints, being able to show the different proper welds that you have in a weld. And again, it comes with 10 different welds here, allowing students to be able to see if you're doing it correctly. Again, some of them have multiple passes, and so it gives you a 2-pass or 3-pass, depending on what you kind of the best practices are. Some of them have just one, showing exactly how it should be done, allowing you then to be able to give your students that actual understanding and information that way. We also have our Weld Defect Kit, allowing your students to learn what the defects are, and then our Bend Tester. Again, all these pieces are there to help your students get that hands-on learning, get that understanding. So with that, thank you for your time today. I don't see any questions, so if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can always contact us by going to our website or emailing us or calling us. Thank you for your time today.